Happy Monday, guys. You're watching video 82, and today we are talking about something that is very common in almost every real estate marketplace, and that is a price adjustment or a price reduction or a adjustment to the price or a new offered price. It doesn't matter. It's all the same. Whether you're buying real estate or selling or casually looking, or maybe you just clicked on a link and now you're being targeted on Facebook about all these real estate ads, you have probably seen an advertisement for a price reduction on a piece of property. Reducing the price is a strategy that is implemented to churn up activity on a listing in hopes of more showings and or hopefully an offer. And typically you see these happen within a couple of weeks of the first initial listing, and sometimes the price isn't adjusted until 100 days after it's been on the market. So today, that's exactly what we dove into, and that is the research that I'm going to share with you. I analyzed 91 properties that are located in Central County, priced between the $300,000 and $500,000 price point. I then looked at the history of each listing to see if there was a reduction, and if so, how many days after the initial offering did they reduce. I then looked at those properties that did have a reduction, and I wanted to see how long were they on the market for, and lastly, how closely did they close to that original list price. So if you're ready, we're gonna dive right into that data. Out of 91 listings, 34 of them had implemented a price reduction at one point or another, which equals 37%. I then went through the 34 listings that had a price reduction, and I was looking for exactly when did they implement their first price reduction. And after accumulating all of that data, it turns out that on average, about 33 days after the initial offering, or as soon as the property entered the market, is when the sellers implemented their first price reduction. The median days that these properties sat on the market was 101, and they closed at 93% of the original list price. And the majority of the listings were on the market for 121 days or beyond. Now for the other 57 listings, it's a completely different story. 70% of them sold within 30 days. The median days on the market was 13, and the sold price to original list price was 97.7%. The largest variable that I'm not taking into consideration is the condition of the property, because I believe that can be offsetted by price. So what else does this data show us? Well, if your property is priced right, you're going to know almost immediately, as these properties have been selling within 30 days. Now, if your property has been on the market for longer than 30 days, I conclude that your list price is probably at least 5% overpriced. Now, how did I come up with 5%? So with some very complicated maths, we took the original list price, the sales price of both those properties that had been reduced and those that had not, did some rounding, did some highly complicated subtraction, and came to 5%. Today we only talked about pricing, which is one leg of why real estate property does not sell. The other leg is exposure, and that's a whole conversation for another day, but essentially if you do not have an agent or team that can deliver you quantified and measurable results as far as what kind of exposure they're getting for your listing, there might be the possibility that you have a dual-legged issue with your listing, and that is why it is not selling. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate you nerding out with me. If you have any questions or comments, just go ahead and drop it in the comment section below. And other than that, you know the drill. I'll see you next Monday.